a little bit of an advantage back, but it's going to be so hard. They need their level 13 talent if they are going to be facing off against the team of Alternate. But it looks like they're not going to be all too fast in taking down this fort, so they have to Hearthstone straight back to base. And now they're going to have to face off against the full might of Alternate, who are just going to face tank these two turrets, as their mercenaries are still moving in.
Yeah, their mercenaries too slow for the push of Alternate right now, waiting it out a bit. But Alternate playing a bit more cautious, backing up. Don't want to get too caught out. Sergeant Hammer, though, already been taking a bit of health damage. Like we said, once they do go in, the shrink rate is prepared for Sergeant Hammer or maybe for Thrall there in the background for that extra damage.
Another thing we didn't quite touch upon is basically, they're actually going in.
Yeah, they're going in. KotH being dropped very low. There's the Void Prism, though, catching the rest. The Starfall is doing a lot of damage to Arthas, Alternate, but they are ignoring it. Nice Sundering, but it only really hits ETC, who just relentlesses it off. And Arthas, once again, completely survived all the ults. In fact, everyone survived all the ults. But here we go. The chase continues, and KotH, the first person on Team Ultimate's side. The mosh pit is incredible, but Valor did not have her strafe up this time, so was not able to drop down the maximum amount of damage they could for that. And they are going to chase here and drop the rest of the damage. KotH heals himself, trying to stay alive. Sebkea is hanging near the core, so he doesn't get picked off along with Unstable. Andy Lendy. And the chase returns the other way. The bounce and manages to take out Valor. And the chase continues. There's the boost coming out of Unstable, trying to keep up. Andy Lendy and Sebkea are with him. Napalm does not land to demount. The auto attack does, but they're not going to be greedy. They're going to instead clear this bottom wave and then move in. Actually, they do appear to be moving in. They're going to try and fight them at the chest, maybe? Or at the turn-in? No, they're heading to top chest.
Yeah, they're most likely assuming that they're not at the landing point because the Sentinel just missed. As a result, there are a few warning signals going out. They probably spotted out Mopsio, who has to be very careful that he doesn't get hit by either a Dwarf Toss or a stray Lunar Fall here. So, Mopsio does manage to escape. But that actually gives Alan and Adrian the time to take the top chest as well, leaving the guys from Arthas StroitHram with absolutely zilch. Now,
yeah, they can't even chase Alternate here because Alternate still have their tier 1 towers and forts up. So Alternate very safe just to back up here and do whatever they want. We do see Arthas StroitHram heading towards their hard camp, thinking about grabbing it, but it still has a good 13 seconds left, so they will have to hang around a bit if they want that. Alternate, though, gonna be turning in Ardent, turning in 8 coins. Alan bringing in 11, and that will easily be enough for another turn in for them, and that will probably take it should take out middle keep.
I would say maybe both even.
Well, let's have a look. It will definitely take out the tower. I don't think it should. Yeah, it'll take out the keep. I don't think it will take out the other keep.
Yeah, it's just going to be one shot at most that it misses. But that doesn't matter. Look at Alternate. Alternate's like, okay, whatever. We're going for the boss. The boss cam already down to 25%. The Sentinel is going to reveal that they are there. But the guys from Arthas StroitHram are going to be moving in. Here's the ultimate from Thrall. It's not enough. And now Andy Landy is going to take a lot of damage. Is going to fall down. And here's the chase.
Yep, Strafe is going to get the full duration of Unstable, trying to boost out of there. He has been slowed by the Frost Shot from Gluehammer. Gluehammer trying to follow up on Alan. Gluehammer does get stunned, though. He's being dropped very low. There's the Ancestral Healing. And Gluehammer continues to chase Unstable and does pick him off. The Ancestral Healing keeping Gluehammer in this fight. Nice jump by Stork, able to save himself for a bit. He's just standing there.
Yeah, he's like,
Oh, there he goes. He's going to go beat out.
What do I have to do?
Yeah, what do I do here? But yeah, we're going to see Alternate continue to push into the main base of Arthas StroitHram. And this should be game with the help of this boss. Mopsio going on to KotH there, but now is just going to ignore him and focus down the core. And that seems to be the theme from everyone here. And there's the Divine Storm, though. Going to slow them down a bit, but with the Tranquility, KotH is keeping his team healthy. He needs to back up. There's the Mosh Pit and the Strafe, which will wipe out everyone. And that is the full team wipe, except for Hammer. Where is Hammer? Oh, she's just AFK in the base. But there we go. Game 1 goes over to Alternate Attax. And that puts them one step closer to dethroning Arthas StroitHram. However, we still have a minimum of 2 games, a maximum of 4 left to go.
Yeah, I have to say, it was a very, very good game here by Alternate. They just grabbed the initial momentum that they had, and they just rolled with it. And I have to say, very well done. Tetcher, we are going to go into the next game pretty soon. But first, we are going to have a little break, if I'm not mistaken.
We are moving into game number 2 of our best out of 5 series between Alternate and Arthas StroitHram. And, well, apparently my first recording is corrupt and I'm missing a good half of it. So people will be like thrown into it partway through on my...
Seems good. Seems good. If you're... Well, maybe you could ask Arthas about some tips.
Okay, that I did not understand that one.
Well, he did get corrupted.
Hey.
Hey.
So why would I want him... I don't want to corrupt the entire video. That is very much against the point. Oh dear. So, Tekno Link, would you like to introduce the team on the left-hand side?
Yeah, I'm going to be switching to said team right now. So it's Andy Lendy playing on the Tastar. We have Unstable playing on the Vala. Stalk playing on the Muradin. Sepkaya playing on the Uther. And Kunichan playing on the Jaina. And they're making it very hard for me to distinguish them.
Yeah, same problem here. And on the right-hand side, it is Team Alternate. And starting in the top lane, it is Gluehammer playing the Nazibo. Mopsio will be running the Zeratul. In the mid lane, it is Ardran on the ETC. And bottom lane is gonna be Alan and Krolu on the Tyrans and the Malfurion.
The aggression here from Arthas. Look at that. They're just like, okay, we're with 5 here.
Yeah.
Come fight with us,
Ardran
please.
Sneaking. He's trying to bait something.
Let's see. Well, now they're going to just clear out this wave and immediately head to a different lane, I would imagine. Tesla sent to the top lane in this case. Interesting choice. Oh, he's going to be running straight into Mopsio and Gluehammer. Does manage to pop out of Side Storm, uses Dimensional Shift, gets locked in, and Mopsio goes in, but at the same time,
that might be enough. Oh, just gets out, and Mopsio taking a lot of tower damage. Almost dies. In the meantime, in the bot lane.
Yeah, Tronde died. We missed that. Too much action.
Yep, she got kind of destroyed by the huge roaming composition coming out of Arthas StroitHram. This is what they did last time on this map as well. It was very, very aggressive. And for now, though, they finally seem to be splitting up into their individual lanes. Stalk is just hanging in the mid lane. Unstable is bouncing around where he feels like. Gluehammer currently bullying Andy Lendy out of this lane. Mopsio is still hanging around, being kind of a jerk. This is like going to be the hardest lane for him to gank because of Oracle. And apparently whiffing skill shots. So
this is the third in a row that he missed.
I saw. So right now, the shrines have been activated. Bot shrine is in favour of Arthas StroitHram. And mid lane's also under their control. However, there's no way that Andy Lendy is going to be able to get near to that top shrine, where there's currently 3 people gathered around it. He's going to have a bit of difficulty doing that. Meantime, in the mid lane, Stalk and Unstable have already managed to take out all of the ammo due to pushing the lane and the
oh, here's Mopsio coming in straight onto Unstable. He's taking a little bit of damage, gets stunned himself during the fight. Ardran, yeah, he's like, you're not touching Mopsio. That's not going to happen. So Sakai now rotating up to the middle lane, leaving Jaina facing off against Malfurion. Also an interesting one. Alan now coming in. There's a stun onto Kunichan the root as well. He's going to try and run out of there, but
he's
so
dead.
Close. Mopsio, chunk. Exactly.
Shame
Mopsio with chunk.
Mopsio did not take Gathering Power, otherwise that would have been a stack. He has taken the Sustained Anomaly for the AoE explosion. Right now, though, ETC has dived onto Unstable. Mopsio coming in to try and deal the damage. There is the W, and there's the instant heal coming in from Ufa from the bot lane, and he's going to help deny the shrine as well. Those minions just sort of got distracted there for a quick second. We're like, oh, we should totally ignore the guy we're right next to taking the shrine. And the second that their team started doing it, the minions like, okay, let's join in, we're needed now. In comes the gank on the bot lane, though. Krolu being slowed very, very heavily by Jaina. There's the Blizzard. Huge damage coming down. That healing totem, though, giving back a lot of health, but it's not going to be enough to keep Malfurion alive. And Arthas are going to take control of this bot shrine for now and deny the Dragonite. Tazadar is also taking control of the top shrine. If Vala can hold back ETC and maybe just dive onto that dragon, she might have been able to do it. However, Zeratul has just come up and completely missed. This is why he's taking the AoE, because he can't hit the actual skill shot. Hopefully the explosion will hit it.
Mopsio, please.
Mopsio, please. You have Master Skin to stop missing. Mopsio heading to the top lane. Andy Lendy is at half health right now. He could go down very quickly. Does he have Dimensional Shift? He does. Needs to pop it at the right time, though. There we go. Popping it just so he has enough room to get back to base.
Mopsio was thinking, do I want to blink over the wall for that kill? Decided against it, but in this case, well, it could have been worth it given the fact that they were behind on experience just a little bit. For now, though, the Shrines were in the hands of the team of Arthas, but Alternate is still there. Ardren now on his own. There's the drive toss by Stark straight onto Ardren, forcing him back. And, at the same time, Alan is now joining in the middle lane. But Uther doesn't really know where he wants to stay. Krolu getting ganked once again. Here's the Blizzard. 1 hit, 2 hits. Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, there's the heal from Tehran, but it's not enough. Frostbolt is going to be finishing him off. Mopsio, thinking about the gag, was like, yep, nope, don't want any of this. And it's going to head back to the mid lane. It's going to find Valor there. And speaking of Valor, this build from Valor is the most aggressive build I have ever seen. Won't be enough to allow him to take the Dragon Knight though yet, because Arden is going to be there denying this, but he's now surrounded by 2 stunning characters, and there's the first stun, there's the second stun, and Valor able to pick him off, and this will give her the Dragon Knight unless Zeratul can deny, which he cannot, and that is the first Dragon Knight going over to Arthas StroitHram. But having a look at Valor's build, we have the Siphoning Arrow for that extra health regen, which she does need, but she's also gone Manticore and Searing attacks. Searing attacks on Valor is ridiculously aggressive, but it is huge damage, especially with Manticore.
Oh, bottom lane, yet another fight here. Kunishan in love for 1 hit,
Good
but he gets the heal. Yeah, very well done.
Sebke has been really on point with those heals this game, been saving a lot of lives. Unstable, currently on his own in the top lane, only taken down 1 tower, but has lost a lot of that Dragon Knight health because he has been tanking this, and Gluehammer has been harassing him constantly. Right now, though,
Kaya is actually now coming in for the heal, I would imagine. Oh, wait,
can't
you can no longer heal. Yeah, you can't heal the Dragon Knight anymore.
I think Totem still does it, or Ward does it, but I'm not sure. I will not.
Only AoE. Oh, there's the kick. Gluehammer sent it to space. To infinity and beyond.
To infinity and this bush. Gluehammer.
Well, Krulu, who's now taking a lot of damage, is again forced back. And you have to, well, I don't know. Alternate is in a very bad situation compared to the last game. This time it's Arthas who has the battle momentum. Well, they don't, but they do.
They have the momentum in this battle. Ah.
But for now, Siege Camp is going to be taken here by Arthas, but Alternate is going to stick a stick in front of it as they drop the Void Prison as well. Siege Camp is now going to go over to Alternate, and here's the beautiful fight for Arthas StroitHram, just taking out a hero after hero, but his stable has to be careful, he goes down. Krolu actually is able to survive this one, and actually it's Alternate who's turning it around.
Indeed. Where was that Ravenous Spirit even cast from? I couldn't even find the Nazi in that fight. He was hidden so well. The chase now continues. Stalk's passive, it does pop. Stun lands on him, though. Damage is being dropped. He makes it over the wall, and he gets a Tastar Shield. He will not be picked off. However, Alternate going to be able to pick up this Siege Giant camp. Like you said, they were able to turn that fight very, very quickly in their favour from what looked very difficult, even though ETC's mosh pit was basically instantly interrupted. But Arthas StroitHram spent a lot of time just sort of sitting in that Starfall from Tehran.
Yeah, but at the same time, you were talking about the Ravenous Spirit. It was not even seen by us. So that just means how well it was hidden.
I can only guess he was, like, here? Like, maybe just hidden in the base? It was because I was, like, all around this area. I thought he might have been down here, might have been up here, but very well hidden on the Nazi board. There was no way he was getting interrupted. Good positioning by Gluehammer overall. I will watch back on the VODs and find out where he was hiding. But for now, Arden going to be taking this Bruiser camp. He may be interrupted by Unstable and Stalk, though, who are rolling in. Sebke and Andy Lendy are on the way as well. Arden backing out. He wants this Bruiser camp very, very much, but he's used his face melt, so he has no way to force Stalk out of this circle when he does do it. Andy Lendy's now in the circle as well. Needs the face melt to cover off cooldown. There's the stuns coming from everyone. Mosh pit once again interrupted. It's still on cooldown. Ravenous Spirit from miles away is just doing huge damage. However, it did just expire. Sebke does finally go down, and Arden is going to be able to take that Bruiser camp. And once again, Arthas StroitHram forced on the retreat. Unstable, turning onto Alan, and he goes down. Gluehammer being dropped very low, and down he goes to Andy Lendy. It is now just Krolu, and that is a 4-man kill there for Team Arthas StroitHram and Arden. Run. There's the slows. And down to the Frostbolt of Kunichan. Those slows from Kunichan have been amazing for the chase kills, and he's been on point with them all game. And that's what's keeping his team in it right now. And that was a very, very good turn by Arthas from what looked like a tough situation, able to pick off a couple people very quickly. and
and
regain
landing in a
control.
lot of troubles. Mopsio straight on top of him. Mopsio knows.
Oh, good
Link! That Link!
That was
Amazing.
great.
Yeah, I have to say, that was nothing short but amazing. But basically what turned that fight around was the fact that Unstable was hiding in one of these little alcoves here, and that allowed him to just start dishing out all the damage. So Alternate just a little bit too greedy there. Now Sepkaya getting locked up, the Divine Storm coming out, Gluehammer has to fall back. But so far, every fight that Alternate has won has been a game of where's Gluehammer.
Yep, been trying to hunt him down. He's actually managed to get 2 full durations of his Ravenous Spirit off, and that's what made it look like they were going to win that fight, but he actually wasn't hitting anyone with that Ravenous Spirit for a lot of that last fight. It was a little bit off. Arthas, finally in control of both shrines. They can try and go for another Dragonite here. Krolu is in the way. No, nice zombie wall, though. Gonna give Krolu a good chance to escape here, and he will do so. And Zeratul in the bottom lane was able to grab that shrine to deny Arthas StroitHram the Dragon Knight for now.
But if we're actually looking at this game for a Dragonshire game, it's interesting that none of the forts have fallen yet. So that's also one of the first beautiful Void Prison. Now they're going to go for that fight, but Andy Landy and Sepkaya are going to be rejoining pretty fast here. Arden is moving straight in, going to try and stop Sepkaya from doing anything at all. They're going to try and take him down. Can they take him down? He's down to 200 hit points, will not even fall. The Ravenous Spirit is chasing him down, but that's not really the target they want to be chasing down. Alan now also going to go down. Now they have the ability to chase down Krolu. Sepkaya taking the long way around, and goodbye Gluehammer. He gets taken out. Now it's on to Krolu. Krolu doesn't really have anything left. Fortunately, he does have Ardren, who's going to be trying to force away the team of Arthas, but it is not going to be enough at all. Is going to fall here. And, well, Krolu gets away, but again, a beautiful fight here for Arthas.
Yep, Krolu able to keep himself alive. Completely saved by Arden there. Quite honestly, I think Arden might have been the better one to keep alive here, but this does mean Malfurion is out on the map. He's going to be able to start working away on the Siege Giant camps and then rejoin his team to assist with the killing of the Dragon Knight. Right now it is Kuni-chan inside the Dragon Knight. He's going to take down a tower and wait for his team before he does dive onto this fort. And maybe wait for a minion wave. It's not too far away, so it's not too long of a wait. Gluehammer about to be punted into the base, but there's the stun from Alan to at least slow down the Dragon Knight, waste as much duration as you can. And here comes the rest of Ultimate now. They are all alive. Malfurion, though, staying in the bot lane. Mopsio going to clear the top wave just to get the XP. And it's actually going to continue pushing here.
Yeah, they still have about half a minute of duration, and given the fact that the Dragon Knight is already down to half hit points, you would expect him to actually try and deal as much damage to the towers by just standing there. If he explodes, he deals quite a bit of damage, and now Kuni-chan, so low, is still burning.
Ow!
Takes him out. Ow!
Love
Dragon
the
Snipe.
owls. Very nice. And you
as
mentioned
well.
the Dragon Knight exploding. There's actually I completely forgot about this until you mentioned the Dragon Knight exploding. If you play the Lost Vikings on the Dragon Knight, and one of them is the dragon, when the dragon expires, all 3 Vikings explode, no matter which one you have it on.
What?
All 3 Vikings get the Dragon Knight explosion.
That's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It might just be a visual effect. They weren't near enough to an enemy for me to actually see if it was a proper explosion or just a visual effect. But now, though, Arthas StroitHram going to be pushing in this bot lane. Zeratul was continuing to split push, but is now being back to join his team in what might turn into another team fight. Malfurion is alive as well, so we could see the 5 versus 5.
The mosh pit will be popped very soon.
Oh,
The Divine Hurricane goes
interrupted.
out. No chance for. But Ravenous Spirit onto Andy Landy. Andy Landy trying to get out of there. Mopsio using the black hole to immediately warp back. And Stark getting a lot of healing done. And oh my word,
Yeah.
Arthas is so far ahead.
Others are very far ahead indeed. That was a great denial of the mosh pit there with that Divine Storm. The Ravenous Spirit, though, we did see Stork dive very far to try and deny it. Andy Landy going to be able to get out of here with his Dimensional Shift. The Stork did dive very far to try and deny this, but was actually blocked by Krolu there, who was able to save the the Nazibo from being interrupted, but was not enough to even kill anyone off on the side of Arthas StroitHram, who are now beginning to take the Bruiser Cap in the bot lane, and Sepkaya heading back to base to refill his mana.
Yeah, and what we are seeing coming out of Alternate right now is that they're going to try and at least mitigate as much of the damage that has already been done by Arthas here, because they have 2 options here. They can wait until they hit level 20 themselves, or they have to fight right now while they still have the same amount of talents. They might be 2 levels down, but being down the second heroic ability is even worse. So for now, another gate falling. Mopsio jumping straight into Andy Landy. Andy Landy taking a lot of damage, but the shield is so huge. Mopsio jumping in, stun misses. Beautiful dimensional shift there. And now the siege camp is going into the hands of Arthas StroitHram as well. Sentinel goes out, but hits absolutely nothing at all, as the Bruiser camp in the top lane for Alternate is already making their way towards the fort in that top lane, which is going to be running out of ammo pretty soon.
Yep, we are seeing Arthas StroitHram gathering around this bot lane instead of going for the top shrine. They're going to try and sneak in and maybe catch someone out from Alternate as they try to steal it. There's the Void Prism, though. SebKR has been caught out of it, as well as Stork. Stork's in a bad position, but he is not the target. And the mosh pit once again interrupted, this time by Muradin, who's diving in. The Ravenous Spirit, though, gets almost a full duration off. Stork finally able to deny. Arden will go down, and it's down to 3 members. Andy Lendy having to dimensional shift. He can turn around and continue doing damage, but he's now just in his regular Tastar form. And the Singularity Spikes from Mopsio doing a lot of damage, as well as Alan. Another dimensional shift coming out. I think that was pre-science that popped that one. Able to keep Andy Lendy in the game. And that was a good fight for Alternate. One of the best they have had in this game so far. This could be a chance for them to come back. They're only a level behind. They have got control of this bottom shrine, and Zeratul is on his way to get the top lane shrine. If someone can sneak into the mid lane, like Gluehammer maybe, who's already mounted, they have a chance of sneaking a Dragon Knight, which would be their first of the game, I believe.
Yeah, that is indeed correct, but they decide not to do so. They're now finally going to be sending Tyrant over there, but Vala knows, okay, I need to be there as well. And Stable is already in the vicinity. Alan is just a little bit too late, but it's just a bait here. Mopsio is there. The stun lands onto Unstable. He's forced to dash straight out there. Can Alan
the heals!
But the heals are too much. Gluehammer does manage to help out and take down Vala. Now they're onto Andy Landy, who has nowhere to go. Oh, he does have somewhere to go, into a different dimension, but Slog even jumping in isn't quite enough. The Dragon Knight goes into the hands of Alternate. This time it was the Prescience that allowed Andy Lane to escape, and the Dragon Knight, like you said, for the first time in the hands of Alternate after a 1-for-1 trade.
Yep, very nice for them. But what we saw there was Vala.
Oh, KotH!
Yep, down he goes.
But nice.
The Ravenous Spirit chasing down Andy Lendy, but he should be able to get out. Shield should keep him pretty safe. But we did see Vala get very nearly killed off and then heal back huge amounts of health with a combination of Blood for Blood and that Siphoning Arrow, which was able to keep her alive for a while until the rest of Alternate did show up. For now, though, Alternate going to continue just wrecking down the front of Arthas' base here. I doubt they'll be able to get a keep out of this, but they're looking to try. They're instead going to go for this bottom lane fort, which would put them ahead in terms of forts killed, just to the top lane fort of theirs still being alive.
Yeah, and it would also allow them to hit their level 20 abilities, so now they can actually fight toe-to-toe with the guys from Art. No, they're not hitting level 20. It's close. Now they have to run. They have to run as fast as they can.
Yeah.
They do not want to be fighting a level 20 when they're this close to level 20 themselves.
Yeah, Arthas have their level 20s. They need to find a minion wave to just stand near and get their level 20s. Mopsio popping out. They should probably get level 20s out of this. Well. Yeah, that will work well enough. Having a look at the level 20s for Arthas StroitHram, though, we can see the regular stuff. Divine Hurricane, Bolt of the Storm on Jada to keep her alive. Just keep her from being completely wrecked like we saw in that last fight. The Rewind coming in for Muradin rather than that extra health on the Nexus Shield. Just to give him the more stuns to deal with Nazibo. Nexus Frenzy coming in from Vala for huge damage, and it is the Twilight Archon coming in onto Tastar.
This is interesting here. Arthas StroitHram is moving in. The Sentinel is going to be spotting them all out.
Trying to deny it.
That's right.
It's reset. That's right. Will it heal? No, they're keeping it. They're keeping it aggroed. It's not going to heal up. And they want to try and do it. It's going to be very
close. This fight is going to be deciding the game most likely here. The Bruiser Cap actually goes over to the beautiful Mosh Pit right away. The Divine Hurricane is going to be locking up 3, but it isn't quite enough. The Mosh Pit has such a long duration. KotH will be taken out here. Mopsio forced to jump straight out of there. He still has his Rewind in. He already uses Rewind, I believe. So he's going to be chasing down the team. Beautiful Void Prison there. That's going to make sure that Andy Landy has nowhere to go. And actually, SebKR is in a lot of trouble. He gets locked down, but Arden taking so much damage from Unstable. Unstable still left to his own devices, but Gluehammer's coming in from the side here. They're trying to take down Unstable. Can they actually get there? The slow, maybe? There's no slow, but there's a pounce.
Zombie wall, if they could land it. There's the specialized toxin doing a lot of damage.
Come on,
Unstable. Oh, dodges the stun. The owl does a lot of damage.
It's just not enough.
Unstable, able to back out. We also managed to see in the background, Stork was able to escape a very close to being death there. But once again, another fight won for Alternate. They're able to pick off both Jaina and Ufa in that fight. And what we ended up seeing there was Ufa and Muradin in the backline fighting a lot of the members of Alternate, while Tassadar and Valor were basically left on their own, and Jaina was just wiped out so quickly. Tyrant's currently hiding up here in the top lane near Stork, but is going to back away due to Unstable turning up. Going to miss the stun though. It's going to be up to Gluehammer to try and keep Alan alive here, and Alan will go down.
But they're going to turn around straight. What is that damage coming out of Mopsio? Yeah, that is his rewind. So much damage being put down here. Andy Landy still has his dimensional correction, his prescience. That's going to allow him to escape with ease. But Alternate, just using the bait, taking down the most damage on the side of either StroitHram. Arden almost getting locked in by the zombie wall. But they can now also go for the Dragon Knight Shrine. They're going to be too late though. Kunichan is already on the bottom shrine. And that might just be the signal for Alternate to go straight into the fight here.
Oh, that's so good. Is Mosh Pit up? Mosh Pit is not up anymore. I think it was just interrupted.
Sakai is trying to get out there, but the Divine Hurricane, Mopsio taking way too much damage. He's going to fall because he was out of mana. Now Kunichan going to try and slow down Crowley as best as he can. There's the silence though. It's not going to be enough. The Blizzard is also going to miss most of the hits here. Crowley getting a stun onto his face from Stalk. Another Side Storm coming out. Arden using the face melt, trying to force away the team of Arthas. And oh my word, that fight. It's so equal.
Yep, Arthas able to drive back Alternate for the first time in quite a while. But these teams just bouncing back and forth in all of these fights. Just keeping the game going. And we're seeing Alternate rush this bottom shrine just as a die. Arthas StroitHram, the Dragon Knight, as top shrine does go over to them. And once again, shrines traded, team for team. And both teams just going to regroup, wait for their dead or being members, and get ready to go in again. Maybe head to the top lane, which looks like what Alternate are doing to try and steal that. Alternate abandoning taking that mercenary camp instead. Just choosing to rush that top lane once again as fast as possible to deny Arthas StroitHram the Dragon Knight. And we're going to see that. We're going to see Andy Landy head in, thinking about taking it, but they do realise it does disappear. And Alan was prepared just in case with that stun, which he just dropped instantly. Second that channel did come up, but he was not required. There's the Oracle though. Gonna spot Zeratul going past, and the Owl will see there's no one around there. So they can kind of guess where Arthas StroitHram are for now. While the teams are sort of playing the dance of death around this area, having a look at the level 20 talents for Team Alternate, we have, like you said earlier, the rewind on Zeratul for huge damage coming out from his Singularity Spike double bombs. Bolt of the Storm available for ETC, which means he can get a good engage if he doesn't get engaged on first.
Arden. Yeah, Mopsio has to be careful.
Oh, good Void Prism. Only gets 2, but it is still nice. Kunichan trying to go onto Mopsio here. There's the rewind. Doesn't actually land it.
Beautiful Divine Storm, and look at Alternate coming in from the rear.
Yeah, we do see Gluehammer doing as much damage as he can, but he will be interrupted this time. Sebkar trying to run for his life, but he's getting focused down, and down he does go. He dropped his stun, but there was very little follow-up here. We do see Stork and Kunichan both backing up. Mopsio going on to Andy Lendy with the rest of Alternate. Arden continuing to chase, and Moshpit does land onto Kunichan, but the Rain of Vengeance will try and save it, but Kunichan does go down anyway. Stork, failing jumping over the wall, is now going to get chased down, while Arden is actually going to give his life to try and kill Unstable here, which he will manage to do with the help of Alan. And now it's just Stork remaining. Stork on the run from Mopsio here, gets his jump in. But if he leaves here, it's going to give away the Dragon Knight, but that might be the price he has to pay for his life. Down. He is. There's the root onto him, and there's the follow-up stun, the Owl, and the final shot coming out of, I think that was Gluehammer there. And now, Alternate, the full team wipe are heading straight for this mid lane. They're going to be able to take down the first keep.
I would imagine that together with the Dragon Knight, they can just face tank the core here. They have a huge wave also incoming. Yeah. Look at this huge wave here. And that means that Mopsio can just face tank the core. Uther and Tassar are going to come back. That is not enough damage to take down Alternate.
Can try and slow him down though. He's moving in. Divine Hurricane does slow them down a bit, but the shield is already gone. Tassadar is now up. He can shield the core for a little bit to try and get some protection, but that just gets instantly wiped. And the huge group is just being completely ignored. Dragon Knight able to do the damage. Ravenous Spirit comes down as well. Alan dies, but it does not matter. And game number 2 goes over to Alternate. Arthas looking very good there for a lot of that game, but Alternate were able to bring it back in the late game, and now the score is 2-0 to them. You can end up with, combined with Blackpool, a 1,000 damage queue.
Look at Solid Jake is saying on last week's qualification matches for the Dingit Championship, Aspen had over 470 bonus damage pre-10 minutes.
Max I got up to was 200. Players are so much better than I am.
It's so interesting to see that in America it's possible. But then again, we already saw that earlier in the earlier seasons.
We did see Asmodad, but it was all lasers in the EU.
No, but
it was
I'm
all
also
about that laser
talking
build.
about the fact that you in NA you used to see Illidan before anything else.
This is true. NA seem to be a bit more on the pioneering side than EU. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to...
I mean, Christopher Columbus.
Tish. Yeah, but he was Spanish, wasn't he? Or was he English? I don't know.
He was definitely... I believe he was Spanish.
He was from a country. So, ladies and gentlemen, spawning on the left-hand side is going to be Arthas StroitHram. And starting in the top lane, it is going to be Andy Lendy on the Illidan, Sebkar on the Tyrant. Kuni-chan will be playing the Malfurion, and in the bot lane, it is Stork on the Arthas and Unstable on the Valor.
On the other side, we have the team of Alternate with Krolu playing the Uther. We have Bluehammer playing the Nazeebo. We have Mopsio playing the Zeratul. Finally, we have Alan playing the Rhaegar. And in the bottom lane, last but not least, it is Ardren playing the Tyrael. And for now, it looks like both of the teams have different strategies. Whereas Alternate is focusing on the top side of the map, StroitHram is more focusing on that middle side of the map. With Kunichan, Sebkaya, and Stalk already pushing in very, very hard.
Yep, currently trying to get as much damage on this mid lane as possible. And now we're going to see Stork and Sebkar go on the roam. And this roaming combo is one we've seen before, and it is ridiculously deadly. They're going to run into the roaming combo of Alternate here, but the Frozen Waste does not land. The Owl does, but no CC lands from either teams. The roaming comps did hit each other, but just sort of scuffed off each other.
Yeah, they were like, hello, and then they just sent a few warnings.
Alright, let's go for a Ultimate, let's go.
Gluehammer.
He's rooted, there's the stun, and like we said, this is the roaming comp that is so terrifying to deal with.
Bottom lane, Kunishan in love trouble, gets stunned right before the gates, one more hit, Ardren taking way too much damage, he's going to fall! Ardren, what are you doing?
Good counter there. He got the Kunichan getting the root after being engaged upon, able to hold Ardren in place enough for the towers and then get the finals auto attacks to finish him off. Now we're seeing Sebkar heading into the mid lane. There is the Hunter's Mark onto Alan, and nice dodge by Alan. He's going to be able to get out of there. Mopsio, though, is coming in, and Alan is going to go onto Sebkar here, but with Unstable, he will be forced back. And we are seeing Arthas dominating the early game like we saw in the last map, but can they keep it going this time?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest question of this match, because, well, last time, at least last match, not this match, but the week before, Arthas StroitHram, they had a little bit of problems to get themselves into the match. And maybe against Alternate, now that they have seen them in 2 games, they could evolve and adapt and maybe take home game number 3. On the flip side, though, you were talking about it earlier on, you have to consider the psychological effect of the 2-0 down, meaning that every mistake you make is going to be fatal, is going to lose you the match, and not just the game.
Yep, right now we see Alternate hanging around this top lane. They are already prepared to start on that tribute. Gluehammer gets engaged by Andy Lendy. There's the stun. Zeratul jumping in. There's the Singularity Spike, and Andy Lendy jumping over is going to be able to escape. But here comes the rest of Arthas StroitHram joining the fight. Stork looking for his root, does not land it, but he will get the slow, and nice blink from Mopsio to dodge the stun, and everyone does get out alive. But it looks like Arthas will probably be able to sneak this tribute. Actually, they might not be, because Alternate are all pretty much full health thanks to that fountain. They are still outnumbered, though, due to Rhaegar chilling in the mid lane, but Illidan did be, so the numbers have evened out. Mopsio trying to do some damage to Stork, but Stork going to be healing it back up. Gluehammer dodging the stun from Sebkar,
because he's taking a lot of damage there from Unstable. Goes down.
He's out.
To pretty low, but he has his own heal. Will be able to just walk straight back to the tribute. This is going to be a very, very long war over the tribute.
Yep, but he has been rooted now. The stun comes out as well. Combo, the punching arrow does come out, and we do see Krolu go down. And now Arthas with, in fact, Arthas is going to try and take the tribute, but Gluehammer and Ufa are just going to annoy the hell out of him with spiders and ghosts to stop him from taking that for as long as possible. Stork going to try again. Gluehammer once again preparing more spiders. Just going to deny this as long as possible. But there's the stun on Gluehammer. Now he is very low. He will not want to risk going in against
He finally hits a skill shot, and that's going to force Stork back. Sebkaya trying to take this tribute, but Krolu with the heal beam is able to force Arthas and Arthas, the team, away from the tribute. This is...
It's going to be going on for a while. For now, though... Oh, hang on. Mid lane. We got a ping onto Andy Lendy, but he does get Singularity Spikes. Popped his first aid. Should be able to get out in time. So he is pretty fine. Having a look at
on the other hand, though, Arthas is pushing in the top lane. They have already taken down one of the turrets here. They're looking to take down the second one, as it's also out of ammo. Far side has been popped. Mopsio has been... That's the red far side, so that's on the side of alternate. Mopsio is still waiting here, lands another one of his Singularity Spikes. Isn't quite enough damage on the stock just yet. Beautiful zombies there. Sebkaya in a lot of trouble. He's going to fall there, and now it might be alternate who are going to be able to turn this around. Unstable, going dangerously low. One more hit from Krolu. That's all it takes. It isn't going to happen.
Oh!
Maximum range heal beam.
Yeah, Holy Radiance able to snipe Valor in the back line there. Actually went for the fountain, was not able to get out of that alive. Very, very nice. And finally, it's going to be Alternate who did pick up that tribute. And that was the first tribute of the game. A very long fight before it did happen. But while the teams finally gather themselves and start taking some bruiser camps for each of them and get back to their lanes to soak, having a quick look at the talents, we can once again see that Tyrant has gone for the very aggressive Searing Arrows and the Ranger's Mark, which is the reduced cooldown. Ultimate, now available, and pretty standard stuff. We do see the Tranquility, Arm in the Dead, Rain of Vengeance, Starfall, and the Metamorphosis, whereas on the side of Alternate, it is Void Prism, Judgment, Ravenous Spirit, the Divine Storm, and the Ancestral Healing. And down goes Nazibo in the top lane, was completely sniped by the gank squad again.
Yeah, this is basically don't step too far away from your base.
I think it's more along the lines of keep an eye on your bushes, because you have a very short amount of time to get behind your wall before that frozen waste can hit you and kill you.
Yeah, and in this case it wasn't Zebo who got reduced to 0 hit points. Tribute spawning in the perfect position here for Arthas, the team, and Andy Lendy picking that one up.
Yep, looks like they are going to prep for boss and start doing that, and they throw an owl at the enemy boss to see if the same is being done for them. It was not, though, so we are going to see Arthas get the first boss of the game pretty easily, and now second boss has been started by Alternate, but they were a bit slow to react to it, and it's going to be the two supports and Zeratul doing it. Owl does spot this, so we do see Arthas know what's happening, and they're actually on their way to fight this, which could be catastrophic for Alternate here if they get interrupted. Malfurion was trying to distract in bot lane. And there we go, they just abandoned it, and Metamorphosis is popped, and Arthas is going to be able to steal this as well.
Yeah, and Alternate decides we don't want to go. Oh, beautiful Void Prison actually locking it down for just a little bit more, but they aren't going to be fighting. And yeah, this is the nerve also to the Void Prison. Mopsio not able to jump in and steal it away. So now two bosses in the hands of the team of Arthas. And, well, I have to say, Arthas looking very good here.
Yep, and they're actually going to be able to deny the tribute as well. Kuni-chan, hanging down in the mid and bottom lanes, going to be able to use his Moonfires to block this, as well as Sebkaya throwing in the Sentinels to deny this Stalk, looking for his opportunity to root, so that he can get a chance to engage. There's the Judgment, though, onto Kuni-chan, and the Ravenous Spirit coming down, but that will get denied by the Lunar Flare. Stork is in the backline doing all the damage. Divine Storm did come down, but now Andy Lendy is well and truly inside the enemy team, trying to chase down Krolu, but the first person to die is in fact going to be Zeratul. And Ufa. Down goes Andy Lendy as well, and that is a 3 for 0. Could soon be a... Nope, the other two have managed to escape. But that is another tribute for Arthas, and they are extending their lead. This isn't even a curse, and they're going to be able to take down this bottom 4. Top 4 already went down to the Golem that was left completely alone during that tribute fight. And Arthas going to extend their lead even further.
Yeah, and they have learned from last time that they're not going to be relieving any of the pressure that they did in the last game. And now Andy Lendy already on these towers. The towers already out of ammo as well. And I would imagine that Arthas, the team, will rotate over to the middle lane. They're jumping straight to Alan. Alan in a lot of trouble. Kunichan now coming in as well. The root is not going to hit Alan, so Alan will be able to escape here. But that's going to be at the cost of his 2 towers. And Subkaya and Stalk now coming in as well. They're probably going to be face tanking this fort with ease.
They're thinking about it. They do have a minion wave here to tank for them, but that fort is at full health. They're going to try and get it anyway, though. Everyone is here except for Zeratul for ultimate, so they can try and deny this. And looks like they will be able to at least drive back Arthas for the time being. Mopsio is already mounted up and is heading in. She gets a swipe onto Sebkea and then wormholes out of there. Does not want to get caught. But Arthas still with a 2-level advantage, and the next tribute has already spawned. Andy Lendy already on it, being guarded by Stork here, and this will not be a tribute denied by Mopsio, who's blinked backwards with the wormhole into a Starfall and is taken out. Down goes Andy Lendy in the back as well. Krolu trying to get some damage down. Gluehammer is going to get completely wiped here. Krolu is trying to escape, but he gets caught in the Howling Blast. And that is almost a full wipe. It's about to be a full wipe. Second Unstable can catch up to Alan, but Alan is actually going to escape here. But
yeah, but his forts aren't. The curse is about to happen. Level correction, Tribute 3, and for Arthas, this is a perfect moment to secure their victory. They have everyone down. They should be able to at least take down a fort, and most likely take a keep as well. They're picking up the Bruiser camp on the side. And combining that with their current pushing potential, Mopsio just wormholing in, but doesn't quite deal enough damage at this point. He's 3 levels down. The level 16 talents now also coming out of the team of Arthas. And team of Arthas actually deciding we're going down to the bottom lane, because there's already a huge wave on these towers as well. They're just going to deal as much damage to the base. They don't have to go for a single keep. They just take everything they can get their hands on.
Yep, and we're going to see them continuing to push. And like I said, 16 talents are available. We do have Huntress's Fury, which is a ridiculously aggressive talent coming out from StroitHram, which means 40% additional attack speed for 4 seconds when using Hunter's Mark, which is a lot of extra attack speed from Sebkea there to deal huge damage. And having a look at the talents from Arthas here, they are quite interesting due to the changes he did take in the patch. We do see that he's gone for at level 4.
Mopsio, he gets knocked down. He is going to fall. Goodbye, Zeratul. And that's going to allow Arthas to continue this push, because they don't have to fear about the burst damage coming. Why are the spiders not... oh wait, they don't blow up. That's the frogs instead. Yeah. Actually, Stalk is just face tanking the entirety of the team for now. Well, the entirety, whatever is remaining. Gluehammer in a lot of trouble. He's going to try and do his best, but the Divine Storm isn't quite enough. The Ancestral Healing got blown through, so it didn't even proc, and it's a complete wipe except for Rhaegar. But Rhaegar is going to be escaping, or is he? Andy Landy jumping straight into the core. It is, well, he's not. It doesn't matter even if he does escape, because Arthas is shifting into overdrive as they take down the core in game 3 and bring it up to 1 and 2.
Yep, Arthas showing real dominance in that game. Like we said, this is the map they have chosen to be their comeback map, and it does start it. However, they only have Sky Temple, the Haunted Mines, and the Garden of Terror, and it's Alternate who get to pick the next map.
Which is Sky Temple. They already picked it.
Did they?
Yes.
So they did. Alright, so I think we should head to a quick break while the lobby is set up and the draft lobby is made. And we'll be right back with game number 4 of this Best of 5 series between Alternate and Arthas StroitHram. This is true, but Sebkea is finally back. The players are readied up and we are loading into game number 4. And it's going to be on the Sky Temple. This is the Dingit King of the Hill series in the EU region. Our current champions, Arthas StroitHram, have their backs to the wall. They were able to pull back a game and bring it to 2-1. But Arthas could use this as their final wipe game. Their composition is a bit more interesting. But for now, we have loaded in. Tekno Link, would you like to introduce our team on the left-hand side?
On the left-hand side, we have Alternate with Mopsio playing the Diablo. We have Alan playing the Rhaegar. We have Arden playing the ETC again. And we have Gluehammer. He's playing Vala. And finally, we have in the top side of the map, Krolu, who's hard-stunning back to base because, well, what else are you going to do until the gates open?
He cast an ability. He wanted that mana back now. And on the right-hand side, in the red trunks, it is going to be Team Arthas StroitHram. And starting in the top lane on the Malfurion, it is Kuni-chan. In the mid lane on the Illidan, it is Andy Lendy. On the Tyrande, it is going to be Sebkea. On the Muradin, it will be Stork. And bringing up the bot lane, it will be Unstable on the Nazido.
Yeah, and Unstable's already running into a very dangerous situation. You're going to be running straight to Blue Hammer, but there's no stun coming out of Arden because he just wasn't in range. Now Stalkers and Kai are going to come in again. It is exactly the same as happened in the previous game. This time, though, Arden is going to be the target, but he's pretty tanky. He will survive. One more hit.
The block pops up.
Block saved him.
Oh, very good timing with that block, keeping him alive. In the meantime, Kuni-chan has been forced pretty far back in his top lane, but he's still able to get XP. And right, Andy Lendy is just getting a bit of harassment off on to Mopsio. Let's have a look at some of the talents, as we do have a couple heroes, well, mostly Diablo that we don't see very often. We have Devil's Due, which means his resurrection cost is down to 60 souls, so not choosing to take the extra health and health regen on souls, instead just going for the the even more common resurrection. Arden gets locked down, uses his face melt, trying to get out of there, but he does go down anyway, and that will be first blood over to Arthas StroitHram.
Yeah, and this is also a map where you don't want to be giving away your early game because it's so snowbally, just like the Haunted Mines. And that's why I'm a little bit scared about Alternate's plans here, because, well, the early game seems to be Arthas' strong point, and in this case, Alan is going to try and help his comrade there in the top side of the map, trying to defend this temple here. As Krodu's forced off, Kuni-chan actually taking control of said temple will be, actually nicely steps aside of that one, but both of the temples, they exchange hands, and now it's Alternate who looks to have a few more shots in their control.
Yep, Alternate having control of this mid lane temple. Andy Lendy been wandering around. Stork is actually going to head in here and try and at least he does neutralize it for a bit. Andy Lendy looking to join him, but it's 4 people here. Stork would be... Oh, it's going to be 3 versus 4 right now. Here comes Unstable as well, bringing the numbers up to even. Mopsio backing out a bit, and we do see the mid temple go over to Arthas StroitHram. We're not seeing Alternate willing to fight here at all. Just gonna back out and let it happen. But Andy Lendy oversteps a bit too far. Gonna take some tower damage here. And
nice combo there with the face melt into and the shadow stomp.
Yep, the overpower and the face melt worked really well together. Andy Lendy going on to Ardren though, and Ardren does go down. The Earth Shield not able to keep him alive as he doesn't have the actual shield on it yet. Alan trying to get some damage onto Stork to try and pick him off. Mopsio is going on to Andy Lendy right now, and Alan able to keep himself alive. Mopsio could overpower someone over this wall. Doesn't actually manage to get Andy Lendy over the wall. Instead, just tackles him into the wall. But
they're so low, Tetcher. Look at Andy Lendy and Stork. They have to go and head straight back to their base. But if we're now looking at the talents here, Diablo going for Firestorm, dealing 50% more damage to non-heroic means, so that will allow him to clear out these middle waves a lot faster, clear out any of the minion waves a lot faster. We're looking at Guitar Hero, or rather Pawn Shop Guitar. Guitar Solo's mana cost is reduced by 50%, whereas, well, you were already talking about it. Tyrande, basically full damage.
Yep, full damage build on the side of Tyrande. Everyone else, standard builds, bar Nazibo, who is going with the cool down mule ability for that defense. Diablo bringing in the battle momentum, going to be getting that CC as often as possible. His auto attacks aren't the fastest, and he does sacrifice more souls for this, but like the increased soul count, but just going to be going with it as he has it anyway.
Look at Arthas here, they're moving in straight onto Alternate. Gluehammer is going to be dealing some damage. Mopsio actually coming in, Sakai gets locked up, they do manage to take him down. Now Alan is joining in the fight again. This means it's a 4 versus 3. Andy Lendy trying to escape. He does have his evasion, gets back to the wall. Beautiful overpower there, but the nice jump onto Ardren. They might actually rock the boss here. Oh, that was a little bit too early, the boss.
Yeah, it got aggroed, but
2 for 0.
Yeah, great attacks. They're going on to Unstable here, but Unstable able to pop up the zombie wall. Gluehammer does give chase, but is not able to land anything. Gets a bit of harassment onto Stork. Bottom temple already active, and it's going to be Mopsio who is controlling that. And you mentioned how that Molten Impact talent will help him clear minion waves. It will also work on these Temple Guardians to help deal with those. Frolu, though, is currently dueling with Kuni-chan up in the top lane, and it's coming out a bit worse for wear for it, but at least he's soaking XP.
Yeah, but he has more mana, so you will be able to actually
Alan,
survive.
Mid lane, run, Alan! He pops the healing totem to keep himself alive. No second stun came down.
There was also a huge fight breaking out with Gluehammer almost going down. There's so much action on the map.
Yep, every single lane there is something happening right now. StroitHram being forced back out of this mid lane. Alan playing too close to tower. But that was a full temple duration going over to alternate, bringing them back in, and ultimates are available. The lightning breath is going to be all taken by Diablo. StroitHram, oh my god, that was devastating. The tackle, the shadow charge coming in to get the final hit. Mopsio grabbing this easy cap, and Andy Lendy being forced to back out. But we do have the stage dive coming in from ETC, the lightning breath for that extra range damage that alternate did need coming in from Diablo. And finally, alternates available on the other side as well. And we see standard ultimates out of Arthas StroitHram, and we see Strafe coming in from Valor on the side of ultimate.
So a lot of damage in those ultimates rather than the CC that we often see, except of course for the Uther with the standard ultimate Divine Hurricane. Divine Storm, by the way.
Divine Storm, not Divine Hurricane yet. That would be terrifying.
Alan in a lot of trouble. He gets locked up, uses Ancestral Healing on himself, still alive here, tries to get out of there, will be able to escape, but loses his fountain in the process.
Yep, fountain does go down. The minion wave will drain a bit of those fountains, and Unstable trying to get out, but he will not be able to dodge that. The Strafe annihilates him. Mopsio with the body block. Krolu, Root goes down, does not land on him, and he's running away. He's got nowhere to run to, really. He's just going to have to hang around this fort. If he runs too far back, he's going to be in trouble. Instead, he's just trying to soak minion waves. But now he's going to have to back up for fear of being caught and dying. However, bottom fort did go over to alternate, and now they're moving on to the boss.
Yeah, that one is going to go straight over to alternate. Actually, Arthas is going to try and stop it, because they are already on the way. Here's the Sentinel. The Sentinel, it actually hit Mopsio, so they might be able to get it. There.
Stalk is there. In comes Illidan teleporting in. Mopsio needs to get into the circle. Here's the one with the CC that can drive people out. And there's the face melt to drive them out. There's the shadow charge. And there it goes over to Team Alternate. Ardren is going to go down. The Ravenous Spirit coming in to try and get some cleanup. We did also see Valor go down in the backline because both the warriors were so busy in that circle to try and capture that Grave Golem, which they did do, but at the cost of 2 of their lives.
Yeah, and the bottom temple going to be taken by Kuni-chan here. Mopsio was like, I want to go there, but I just can't do it. I can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power. In this case, though, Krolu in the top lane does have the power. He's going to be facing off against Andy Lendy, but he's going to get a little bit of help from Alan. But then again, Andy Lendy, he's going to be lent a hand by Stalk and StroitHram. We're now focusing down Alan. The Ancestral Healing is going to be enough to keep him alive.
Stage dive! And the lightning breath onto StroitHram. He's being dropped very low. Andy Lendy gets finished off by it. Strafe comes in, doesn't actually hit anyone, but it does drive them back a little bit. And that is what Alternate's comp is about. That is amazing, surprising gauge with huge damage. It's very much a burst comp coming out from them right now. Krolu going to be holding this top temple for now while they do the damage, and the rest of Alternate going to push this top lane as much as possible. Bottom temple has been fully used up, and Malfurion did be back and is now on his way to help his team try and defend this temple, but it will go down to the temple if nothing else.
Yeah, that's fort. Or Mule. No, Mule's going down.
Mule just in time to heal the tower.
But the tower is going to fall as well due to the triple
final 5 shots.
Final 5,
will finish that off, and down it goes.
It's going to a wall. It's going to do something. The issue.
Yay! There's a minion attacking it. Get it! Kill it! Oh dear. Both teams going to be taking their bruiser camps and beginning to get ready to try and work out stuff elsewhere on the map. We don't see another temple for a little while, I don't think. So for now, Mopsio been hanging around in this mid lane, soaking some XP, while the rest of Arthas did clear the waves. And Stalk trying to keep vision of Mopsio so he knew what was going on. Having a look at some of the other talents, we see the Spell Shield coming in from Diablo for that extra protection against the Ravenous Spirit, etc. The Healing Surge coming in from Rhaegar for that extra healing against this scenario. Relentless, as we've seen every time on the ETC. We do see ETT has taken the increased knockback on Face Melt this time, though, which is just for the counter on Nazibo. And for Valor, it's the standard Frost Shot Sprint on Uther. Standard stuff from them.
Yeah, so now finally the second fort taken down by the team of Arthas. Oh, the stun lands on the glue hammer, but he has the vault, so will be able to escape.
Ooh,
is he going to be a vault breaker, though? Glue hammer gets stunned, gets jump on. That's just reeling. Oh, and
not enough.
Oh no, it's the spirit.
Jesus. He has cancelled the Ravenous Spirit, though, just to continue the push instead of using that for the push itself. So he will continue pushing out this way. There's the lightning breath, and this is unCCable. He does get the full duration off, but stunned second he comes out of it, and he will get killed off. He doesn't have enough souls, though, so he's coming straight back. Alan continuing to try and defend along with KotH here. The two supports going to try and drive this back, and the lightning breath did not even kill off these two siege giants, but here he is. Mopsio is right back and is going to help clear this off. The only hero in the game now with any semblance of what used to be a resurgence. Mopsio making great use of this Diablo, and for his level 16, he's taken Firestorm.
Yeah. So that's actually pretty good, because that allows him to deal even more damage with this Firestorm and combines nicely with the talent of level 2, which deals additional damage to minions with the Firestorm. So now going to try and go back. Oh, it's unstable. He's now completely left alone, so he's going to go down to Alan and his team. Blue Hammer's there. Stun goes down.
The guys there.
And
down he goes. We're going to see Mopsio heading into this actually, no, he's going to join his team, and they're going to try and fight the mid-temple instead. It's going to be Ardent, who is at the bot temple.
They're outnumbering them, so we are going to be seeing EDC going to the bottom lane. He has the stage dive, so he will be able to jump straight in. And immediately Mopsio going in. There's the overpower into KotH. They're in a lot of trouble. Lightning breath coming out.
Here's the stage dive. Nice ice block from KotH so that he can get the full duration of his tranquility off. Andy Lendy popping his ult ancestral healing onto Gluehammer when he had quite a lot of help. But Sebkia does go down. Divine Storm onto Andy Lendy. There's the second stun. He tries to jump out of Mopsio. Mopsio throws him straight back in, and Gluehammer drops the second stun. Andy Lendy trying to escape, desperately leaping over anything and everything he can find, but the stuns will be coming, and down he goes. Ardent is down to KotH.
KotH in a lot of trouble. He's going to take quite a bit of damage, taken down to about 4 of his bars, but he's not going to go. Did you hear that story about a druid and a paladin walking into a bar? Well, here's the hammer. Alan biting the head off Malfurion. End of story for him as well.
Yep, we do see Stork did survive all this and is heading back to the top lane to just soak some XP, and Nazeebo has respawned and is going to begin pushing this top lane as well, trying to get something out of this, while the bot temple, which ETC left alone to use the stage dive to come help, is now being held by Mopsio, who held all of the remainder of the mid temple as well, and he's just going to be able to kill this off by himself. Those fire waves pretty effective.
Look at the top lane. Arthas is already the team of Arthas is already pushing in together with Unstable and Stalk. Big minion wave as well, so they are going to be able to kill the gate and the minion wave, but they're going to lose the boss camp, and they're going to lose a lot of damage on the keep, which is currently being repaired by the mule. So at the very least, it isn't all that bad, because the mule should be able to heal it up completely.
But the boss,
the boss
will kind of deny that. It's heading in. However, Arthas have now beat back to base. We see Illidan and we see Andy Lendy and Sebkia taking their bruiser camp in the top lane, and the rest of the team already in the bot lane to defend against the boss.
Giants.
However,
they have pyramids. Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah, here is Arthas. And the lightning breath, even though he is unstoppable, was stopped somehow. I'm not sure what happened there, but there it goes. But it was cancelled a second ago. KotH is now locked down. There's the shadow charge, but he's able to escape. Andy Lendy gets overpowered, thrown back into the fight. Ancestral healing onto Mopsio just heals him straight back up, and they're continuing the push. The golem all the way onto the core, but it will finally go down. Andy Lendy has had to back up here. Nazeebo died very early in the fight. Stork being dropped low, but is able to dwarf toss his way out of there. Andy Lendy no longer in his ultimate forward, is down, just wailing onto Mopsio along with the core, and they're trying to kill him off, and Gluehammer being dropped low as well, and we're actually, I think, Alternate will die here. The core's so low. Alan is the last one left with health. GG, Alan OP. Alan, the last remaining member of Alternate.
But they had 4 siege giants moving in.
Yes,
that allowed them to take down that core.
Yeah, very well played there. Alternate winning out 3-1. The second 3-1 we've had so far. Someone's going to have to break that spree eventually. But Alternate are our new champions of the Dingit King of the Hill series for you, and they will move on to the next week and win $25 for this week. Thanks to the wonderful Dingit.